What is up, guys and girls? Welcome back to another Starfield video, man. And today Starfield is officially 1 month old since its official release, which was September 6th. We're not talking about the early access and the early releases, man. So in this video I want to take a retrospective look at some of the media outlets that reviewed Starfield and get what their thoughts and their viewpoints of the game is now 1 month later. We're going to take a look at people who are currently still playing the game and their views and reviews on the game. And then we're going to ask ourselves the question of whether or not Starfield is a dead game 1 month later, because I see a lot of tweets going out there that Starfield's dead. But we'll cover that later in the video. So first off, let's go right into the Kotaku article that is Starfield 1 month later. We texted Starfield, how you been? So you don't have to. Okay, so the article says that as expected, a game as massive as Starfield has a ton of stuff going on. 1,000 planets. Remember, for a month later, folks are still discovering all sorts of unique quirks, charms, and more than its fair share of weak points to point out, celebrate, and critique. Yeah, I absolutely agree with this, man. It's 1 month later. I still have not completed the main quest. I am currently on a quest of just completing factions, discovering what is out there in this universe, doing side quests, and I'm enjoying my time with it. Without a doubt, I'm enjoying my time with it. Yes, there has been some lows, but I think I speak for everyone that loves the game. We are still discovering so many things out there. But yes, I do agree. The more you play the game, the more you see the game's weak points, right? And if you've been following my channel for quite some time now, we have been discussing a lot of these weak points, and we've also been praising the game where praise is due. So yeah, man, there are a lot of weak points that people will discover the more they play the game. However, that just did not affect my enjoyment of the game. But let's continue. So the article goes further on to say that since its highly anticipated game launch, the reactions have been largely positive, but there are some fair criticisms of its structure and the meat of more than a few of its premier quest lines. In Kotaku's review of Starfield, I praised its scale, scope, and capacity for gorgeous vistas, but criticized a pervasive shallowness in the game's settings, narratives, and woefully repetitive environments. Yeah, we know the game did not release with DLSS support for many PC players out there, because the majority of PC players actually have NVIDIA cards. There was no brightness calibration, no HDR calibration, things like that, no FOV slider. Those are things that the game should have launched with. This is where Bethesda hurt the game itself by not launching the game with those things. Then the repetitive environments, I completely agree. Like I said in one of my previous videos, the foundation that Bethesda laid down here for this game with 1,000 procedurally generated planets could either work in favor of the game or it could work against the game. Now, it could work in favor of the game in that Bethesda, they have a lot of leeway. They have a lot of directions in which they could take the game with post-launch content, with expansions and DLCs like that, you know. They have a lot to build upon, so they can use any of these planets. However, it works against the game in that there is a lot of vast emptiness things happening on these planets, and these planets generates points of interest which you might have already discovered, you know, but now it's with different pirates and so forth. So there is that repetitive nature to it, and unfortunately that works against the game. But anyway, let's continue. Then the article goes further to say that in general, Starfield really hasn't convinced us that it's a vision for the future of games. And in fact, it seems to be a little more than an iterative improvement on what Bethesda has delivered before, for decades now at this point. But whether you see that as a reliable go-to experience of the kind we know from Skyrim and Fallout, or a failure to improve upon the tired formula, is what makes Starfield 2020's gaming Rorschach test. Oh man. Now, yeah, completely agree. I said back in my video on whether or not Starfield is a generational game, I said that the reason why it's not a generational game is because Bethesda has not innovated the formula with this game. They did not take it to the next level. Yes, the shipbuilding mechanics is great, but is it enough to say that they've actually innovated their formula? Instead, what I said was they refined the Bethesda formula that we know and love. Like they refined the gunplay, like the detail of textures and that. They refined the Bethesda formula, but they did not do enough to innovate it, to take it to the next level. And in that sense, it's not a generational game. I will say it is a generational game in that the game will be played for the next 10 years. It's a generational game for Bethesda as a whole. But yeah, I completely agree with what is being said here. Only time will tell, depending on the quality of post-launch content we get as gamers, and I'm hoping that we get a lot of good things, man. Furthermore, the game currently sits at a Metacritic score of 84, sharing similar ground with well-received titles like August Armor Core, right, and Fall, but falls quite shy of bigger blockbusters like The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. And player reviews via Steam certainly have their knives out for this Bethesda entry, though, often describing the game as disappointingly average and wide as an ocean, shallow as a puddle. Yeah, again, I do not agree with the whole notion that it's as wide as an ocean and shallow as a puddle. There's a lot of things to discover in this game. There's a lot of side quests to keep you busy. But like again, this is probably a person that was just exploring random planets, and he was experiencing the repetitive environments, and that's why they probably said that it's as shallow as a puddle. But there's a lot of stories to be told, so there's a lot of lore to actually dig into this game. So yeah, but understandable. But I think most of the Steam reviews are related to performance issues. From what I've seen, it's mostly related to performance issues. But yeah, I see the Metacritic score is still sitting at 84, so I take it that the console warriors are done review bombing the game. There are no longer blank 10s being left. There are no longer zeros being left by ponies and blank 10s by Xbox. So I take it they finally settled with an overall score of 84. Anyway, okay, let's move on to the next article by PC Gamer. Todd Howard says Starfield was made to be played for a long time, but a month after launch I'm already drifting away. Bethesda's biggest RPG wound up feeling a lot smaller than its earlier ones. I feel a lot of people are saying this, a lot of fans as well, are saying that the game feels smaller than other Bethesda games. And I think this is because of the disjointedness of the fast traveling system, maybe? Let me know in the comments down below. What is the reason that makes you feel that way? So the article goes on to say that I'm not doubting that statement exactly, because I'm sure I'll be playing more Starfield in the future, but I'm feeling disappointed that I don't want to play more Starfield right now. Just a month after it came out, it's Bethesda's biggest RPG ever, and I already feel like I am just done for a game I've been anxiously waiting to play since its announcement in 2018. That's a big surprise to me. Yeah, look, I can understand where he's coming from, and that's particularly if you invest your time into one game only. And that is why for me personally I have a variety of games that I play so that I don't get bored of these games. And currently I'm like 100 hours into the game. I still haven't completed the main quest. I still have like 2 of the main factions to complete and a whole lot of side quests, but I'm loving my time in the game, and I play my games over a long period of time. I play multiple games, you know, at different times, at different stages, so that I don't get fatigued of the game. And I think that this sounds like Starfield fatigue, you know. But I completely understand what he's saying, man. Okay, the article goes on to say, I'm simply not feeling the same pull with Starfield. I've done main quests, faction quests, and tons of side quests. I've built a few ships and set up a few bases. I've explored the heck out of the galaxy and visited hundreds of planets. I've mostly enjoyed my time, but I'm ready to move on, and much earlier than I ever expected to. Yeah, again, you see, I think it just comes down to fatigue of the game. If you've just been playing Starfield continuously for a month, you haven't really spaced yourself out, because I mean, for me personally as well, like I said, I'm 100 hours plus in. I haven't completed the main quest in that yet, but once I do complete it, I've completed all the main factions, I've completed all the side quests, I'm not going to jump immediately into New Game Plus. I'm going to take a break from the game because I want to try out other games. That is why I have, like I said, I have a variety of games that I play over a long period of time. It will probably take me another month to complete everything, but that is just how I play. So depending on how he played the game, his mileage, it took a month to complete everything for him, and now he basically had enough now, you know. He's calling it quits now. He's taking a break now, but he will be coming back to it, and I feel the exact same way. When I complete all these things, I'm not going to jump back into New Game Plus. I'm going to wait for the expansion, Shattered Space, and then I'll jump back into the game with New Game Plus and play the expansion in tandem with my New Game Plus. The article goes further on to say that when it comes to Starfield's longevity, I think Howard was talking at least in part about the New Game Plus, but as clever as Starfield's New Game Plus is, and it really is smartly done in how it ties into the fiction, especially with all the surprises it's hiding, I don't really see myself doing much with it. Okay, there is saying that, you see, he's not really going to jump again into it, because Starfield isn't Baldur's Gate 3 where a single important decision may radically change your playthrough or lock you out of tons of quests. After my main and faction quest playthrough, I wasn't left with a lot of what-if questions in Starfield. By design, you can engage with all different faction quests without impacting the others. Being a space cop doesn't stop you from being a space pirate simultaneously. Yeah, okay, now I understand. This is the biggest flaw that I see in Starfield. Take away all the space reversal things, and take all that away. To me, the consequence system is the biggest letdown of Starfield. I love the game, don't get me wrong, I'm loving my time with it, but I wish Bethesda went all in with the consequence system. There are consequences, but they sprinkled here and there. I wish they went more in with it. For example, where you go with a particular faction, that is basically who you are in this universe now. So it closes off the other factions, it opens more dialogue options, it opens different missions that's catered for that specific faction, that ties into that faction, and it branches out throughout the universe. Unfortunately, the game doesn't do that. Yes, there are some dialogue changes. For example, I finished the Freestar Ranger Collective faction. I saw now that there were more dialogue options for me as a Freestar Ranger, but that only applied to the Freestar Ranger Collective part of the universe and planets, so the game doesn't leave me also with a lot of what-if questions. And for me, a whole consequence system that raises the questions of what if extends and increases a game's replayability, and unfortunately that is not here with Starfield. That is why I feel like when I'm done with everything, I'm going to take a break from the game. I'm not going to jump immediately into New Game Plus because I don't have what-if questions. That's just my, In some respects, I appreciate that design, just like I enjoy becoming the head of every guild in Oblivion with the same character, but squeezing everything out of Starfield in my first go around doesn't give me much motivation to play through the game again. I completely understand. And I think a lot of people will also feel the same way. And that's just because of the consequence system, man. That's only because of that. Then he ends the article by saying, I'm not saying I'm done with Starfield forever. There will be at least one expansion, and there are already thousands of mods and 10,000 still to come, and plenty of those will open up new ways to play and new reasons to return. But for now, I'm moving on to other games, and that's happening much sooner than I expected and hoped it would be. Starfield may be light years bigger than Elder Scrolls and the Fallout games, but to me it feels much smaller. Yeah, but you need to take a break from I think he's got Starfield fatigue after a month of playing the game. He needs to go dip his toes into some other games and then come back to Starfield. That is exactly what I do, and I think a lot of players need to do that. If you're feeling Starfield fatigue, it's fine. Just go play a different game for a day or two, like you have your multiplayer game on that, and then come back to Starfield. It will feel like the first time you're playing again. At least that's my opinion. But yeah, right, now let's go look at something else. One Starfield player has scanned every single planet possible. Wow, this is insane. Just 1 month Just in 1 month, this player scanned every single planet possible, and not just the random scan. No, it's full scans. Holy crap. So the article goes to say that Starfield has just been around for over a month, and for the most part the community is still enjoying it. Yes, we are. There's plenty to be done, from new game plus to building endless ships, and from going toe to toe with space pirates to wooing your companions. Alternatively, you could do what one Starfield player has done and scan every single planet possible in the game. That's right. Doom0 on Reddit shared the information that they've now scanned every single planet in every unique system in Starfield for a total of 1,695 planets. Holy crap. And not just scanned, fully scanned. Wow. Now you see how the game creates different, you create your own adventure. This person decided, hey, you know what, I'm gonna go on an adventure and go and scan all the planets. I'm pretty sure that might not have been fun just to be doing that. And he stressed that outside of scanning, he had just 20 hours played of, the actual game. Wow. That is insane. Now, I'm not sure how much fun that really was for him, but it probably was fun for him to do that, because it was his adventure going out there to scan all 1,695 planets. I think that's with gas giants and rocks that you can't land on. That is insane. That is crazy. Wow. But it's things like that, man. 1 month later, what a thing to accomplish in 1 month. A lot of people thought this would take 1,000, it would take thousands of hours, but apparently nope, 1 month is all it took. Okay, now on to the next thing. Is Starfield dead after 1 month? Are there still players playing Starfield? Are there still people playing Starfield? Or is Starfield dead? Because a lot of people out there have been tweeting that Starfield is dead, especially after the release of AC Mirage and Cyberpunk 2077 with the Phantom Liberty expansion. People are thinking that Starfield has just been forgotten. So let's take a look at the Steam numbers, since that's the only player counts that we can actually get hold of. We're not entirely sure how to get hold of the Xbox player count, but we know that the game peaked at 10 million players, and that is all roughly from Xbox Game Pass, whether on PC or on the consoles. Yeah, about an hour ago, 38,909 players were playing Starfield. That's about an hour ago of recording this video. So yeah, about 39,000, 40,000 people are still playing the game. And then your 24-hour peak, you got about 80,000 people still playing the game. And obviously we know the game peaked at 330,597 players. But I mean, for a 24-hour peak at about roughly 80,000 players, that's not bad at all. That's not a dead game. Is that a dead game, guys? Certainly not. It couldn't be. Look here. So let's look at it. Look here. September 30th, it was sitting at 100 and... Oh, that was Friday. See, when it comes to the weekends, the game's numbers increase. So there by Friday night, I was sitting at 107,000. Saturday morning and that, it went down, obviously. Then come, and it goes up again. 120,000, 130,000. It's going. Look there. Sunday, October 1st at 9, we had 135,000 players live. And then comes the week, and it obviously dies down again, But so it's like mostly at nighttime when people come from work, they are playing the game. But it's Friday today, I can see this probably will go up again tonight and over the weekend. So from here you can see there is like 100,000 something players playing the game. So is that a dead game? No. For a single player game especially, because remember, this is not an online game, this is not a multiplayer game, this is a single player game that is roughly getting 79,000 to 80,000 players on a 24-hour peak. And look there, just an hour ago, about 39,000 people were playing. So I guess that answers the question of whether or not the game is dead after a month, and the answer is no, it's not dead. Obviously people are playing now more Cyberpunk 2077 and the Phantom Liberty expansion. Why not? The thing is, I'm doing the same thing. There's nothing wrong with playing more than one game. But some people on Twitter, man, the console warriors, they just man, I don't understand. Now this is only the Steam numbers, but the game is still going strong on Steam alone. We don't know about the Xbox numbers. Unfortunately, we don't know about that. Anyway, guys, yeah, that answers the question as to whether or not the game is dead. Clearly it's not, and this is only the Steam numbers. Don't forget that there's still the Xbox numbers, the Xbox Game Pass numbers. Unfortunately, we are unable to see those numbers. I wish there was a way to determine that. But yeah, there's that numbers as well. For a single player game, the game is not dead. Clearly, it is not dead. Don't believe everything you see on Twitter. Don't believe everything you see on Twitter, man. But yeah, with that being said, guys, let me know in the comments below, what are your thoughts on what we covered in this video? Do you think, or do you see yourself taking a break after a month from Starfield? Do you see yourself continuously playing it until the expansion drops, so that there's more content available? Or are you one of these Steam players who are just waiting for the update that contains the FOV sliders and the DLSS features, so that you will then jump back into the game? Or are you just waiting for that big update? Let me know in the comments down below, guys. As always, I gotta love and leave yous. I'm heading back into Starfield, baby. I'll catch you in the next video. As always, guys, stay safe out there. Rampage out. Peace.